Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. Ms. Smith, correct?
Correct.
My court reporter's taken everything down, and so the attorney's going to ask you some questions. If you'll wait till they finish the questions to answer, so that two people aren't talking, because you can't take down if two people are talking. And she unfortunately does not have eyes in the back of her head or a camera to see if you're nodding or shaking your head no. And if you say I may say, is that a yes? Because we're just trying to get a really perfect record, okay?
I understand.
All right, thank you so much. Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
And the witness has been sworn? Or?
I swore her.
Thank you so much, Judge. Please tell us your name for the record.
Andrea Paige Smith.
And where do you work?
I work at the U.S. Government Accountability Office, which is an independent, nonpartisan agency that works for Congress.
Now, do you remember the incident that you're here for, the incident that happened at the QT at the forum?
Definitely. It was very memorable. When somebody's murdered and you're that close to it.
Response?
If you could.
No, response to me.
Oh,
You want her to rephrase?
yes, please.
Okay. Is it Miss Smith or Miss?
Miss Smith.
Yeah, okay, Miss Smith. Yeah, I want to make sure. Miss Smith, if you will not use that word, that's a legal conclusion in any of your answers. So you want to ask another question? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Why were you at that gas station?
So I was in that part of town because earlier that day I had gone to a nearby church, and after church I'd gone to the Trader Joe's and then to the gas station.
And what happened?
So while I was at one of the pumps on the outside row, I was getting my receipt and I heard from behind me the sound of screeching tires and a collision. And so I looked behind me to see what was going on, and I saw men struggling near a parked car. I saw one man pull another man out of the car. And it was about that time, so I was trying to figure out what was really going on, that I heard another customer or somebody else at the gas station yell out about there being a gun. So it was at that point that I hid behind my car. And while I was behind my car, I heard a gunshot go off.
Ms. Smith, I'm going to publish a still from a video that's already in evidence.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I publish States 21?
States 21?
Yes, Your Honor. Oh,
No,
sorry.
21 is not in evidence, Mr.
States
Williams.
3. States 3, sorry.
State 3 is a QT video.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's a photo from that video. Is the state representing that, Mr. Melvin?
That is the actual portion of the video.
It's not going to be a photograph.
No, we're going to start at 12:32.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Melvin.
Ms. Smith,
You have a monitor right here you can watch right over here. And Mr. Williams may ask you to step off and point. Just there's 2 steps coming off the platform, don't fall. But otherwise you can watch it right here.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
thank you, Your Honor. Could you tell us whereabouts on either image you were positioned?
This is my car in the bottom right of the
Oh.
lower.
Maybe if you could step down, Ms. Smith.
Careful.
Okay. And can you tell us is the gas pump sort of where would that be located?
So we can't see the gas pump in that video. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now we're going to publish the video, Your Honor, and if you could just watch it for us, Ms. Smith.
The video?
Yes.
Okay, you can watch it right
We're going to play it. Is that you getting out of the vehicle?
That's me, yes.
Why did you back up there?
I don't remember exactly, but that's a rental car, and so I imagine I parked too far away for the pump to extend. It wasn't my car that I normally drive.
Filling up at that point?
I think so, and I think I must not have wanted to step over the pump for whatever I was doing, so I took the long way around. At this point, I was already hidden sort of behind the back of my car, right down here.
Yes, please.
I was back to the back of my car, hiding down here.
Did you see any weapons yourself, Miss Smith?
I did not. I just heard somebody say that they had seen a gun and heard the gunshot from behind the car.
Thank you, Your Honor. What did you see and hear?
So I did see the struggle near the car that I talked about. I heard somebody warn about a gun. So I did hear the gunshot from behind the car. And that's pretty much, I waited behind my car for a while until it felt like it was safe to come out.
Any tire noises?
I think that that's what first got my attention, was the sound of like screeching tires, a collision. That's what caused me to turn around in the first place from the pump.
What did you see when you came up from behind the car?
So just the back end of a car leaving the gas station.
Did you see anything else on the ground?
The poor man who had been killed was lying there on the ground.
Ms. Smith, thank you for being here. The other attorneys may have some questions for you.
Okay.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Lewis.
Sure.
We had a chance to speak at a prior hearing. If I asked you a question that you don't understand, you just let me know and I'll try to rephrase it, okay?
Okay.
Okay. As I listened carefully to your testimony, I understood you to say the chronology of events was you heard the screeching tires, you heard the collision, then you heard the shot. Do I have that right?
Yes, there was time in between that, but yes.
Right. It may not have been in rapid succession, but what first drew your attention to there being any sort of drama or problem was the screeching tires. Is that right?
Yes.
Then you heard the collision. Is that right?
Yes.
Then at some point in time you heard a shot. Is that right?
Yes.
The shot occurs after the collision. Do you recall seeing the people struggling before you heard the shot?
Yes.
I got it. So it's screeching cars, you heard collision, struggle, then a shot. Is that right?
Yes.
And from your prior testimony at the prior hearing, you estimated your distance to be about 40 or 50 yards from the actual collision of the two cars. Is that right?
Yes, but I'm apparently not very good at estimating distance because you can see it's not that far on the video.
Okay, but at your prior hearing, if your testimony was it felt like it was about 40 or 50 yards. Is that right?
Yes, that's what I said then.
You heard someone else say that they saw a gun. Is that right?
Correct.
And you heard the gunshot. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you ever see the gun?
No.
Did you ever see who ultimately fired the weapon?
I did not.
Okay. Did you describe any of the potential perpetrators to the police when they arrived?
No.
Did you ever give the police any tag to the vehicle that you saw leave the scene?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Paige. I'm going to turn it over.
Mr. Clegg?
Correct. Yes. I did.
My eyesight is not as good as it used to be, but looking at the video, it appears that the vehicle you got out of would have been an SUV, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you recall the make of the SUV?
I do not.
How tall are you?
I'm about 5'7", 5'8".
And how tall was the vehicle, the SUV?
I really couldn't say. I really couldn't say.
When you first pulled up to the gas pump, the gas cap
Yes.
SUV you were driving would have been on the passenger side of the
Correct.
And you can see in the video you getting out of the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
You get out of the driver's side, correct?
Yes.
Is there anyone else in the vehicle with you at that time?
No.
Nothing out of the ordinary is happening when you get out of the car, correct?
No,
You go around to the passenger side of the vehicle, correct?
correct.
You are paying for the gas at the pump, is that a fair statement?
Yes,
At some point, when you first pull in and get out of the car, you notice the Dodge Charger sitting over near the
I do not.
gas pump.
No,
There's no reason for you to pay attention to it at all, correct?
correct.
You don't know whether that vehicle is occupied or not at that time, correct?
That's correct.
You don't know of your own knowledge whether the motor of that vehicle is running or not, correct?
Correct.
You actually come back into view at some point and go around the driver's side again, and I think I missed it. Why is it you went back to the driver's side?
I'm not sure. Mr. Williams did ask me why I moved the car, and right. I can only assume it's because it wasn't my car and I wasn't close enough to get the pump into the, so I think I had to adjust.
My mistake, you already answered that question, so I apologize. So and then you go back to the passenger side of the vehicle, correct?
Yes,
And whatever you observed or heard when it happens when you were on the passenger side of the vehicle, correct?
yes.
Could you see over the top of the SUV?
I think I was at the part of the pump where I was getting the receipt, so I think it was the front of the car that I was seeing over, but probably could not see over the middle part of the SUV.
And you will concede that at least once you go to the passenger side of the vehicle to put the gas in, it is difficult to see, correct?
Yes,
From the video, we can see you on the driver's side of the car. We cannot see you on the passenger side of the car, correct?
correct.
At some point, is it a collision that you hear first?
Yes, there's some sort of noise from that area, yeah, like a collision that gets my attention.
You immediately direct your attention to the vehicle.
Yes.
Okay. And so, at that point, how long do you watch what transpires?
It's hard to say, but maybe 30 seconds to a minute.
And do you see anyone get into the driver's side of the vehicle that has been backing up?
No,
Do you see anyone get into the passenger side of the vehicle that has been backing up?
no,
But you do see signs of a struggle inside the vehicle, correct?
and around the vehicle, yes.
And I apologize,
And around the vehicle, like there was somebody outside that was part of the struggle, so it wasn't just inside the car.
my specific question at this time is, do you see a struggle take place inside the vehicle?
No,
Do you ever see two people inside the vehicle?
no,
Do you know the vehicle? When I say the vehicle, I'm talking about the Dodge Charger. When you direct your attention to the Charger, do you recall the driver's side door is open?
I think it is open.
How about the passenger side door? Do you recall that?
I don't recall, but I don't think it was open.
Now, you heard a shot, correct?
Yes,
You heard one shot.
yes.
Was that shot from inside the vehicle or was it from outside of the vehicle?
I'm not sure I could say. I assumed it was from outside the vehicle
What was the basis of your assumption?
because it was very loud.
Okay. And you did not see anyone with a gun, correct?
Correct.
Did you see at the time, you had heard someone say, he's got a gun, or words to that effect, correct?
Yes,
And at that point, you ducked down, correct?
correct,
You were concerned about your own well-being and safety as well you should be, correct?
correct.
So at that point, you did not actually see what transpired, correct?
That's correct.
You did not see one individual shoot the other, correct?
Correct.
You cannot offer any sort of opinion to these ladies and gentlemen of the jury as to the distance between the two people when the shot was fired, correct?
Correct.
When you saw, did you see the two people outside of the truck?
So I did at some point see, Okay.
Prior to hearing he's got a gun,
Okay.
did you see the two people outside the car?
I saw one man pull the other guy out of the car, so they were both outside of the car.
And were they both standing at that time?
Yes.
And was one noticeably taller than the other?
I don't think I could say.
You said you're 5'7", 5'8" or so. I think that 5'8" on a good day. Did you notice anyone who appeared to be 6'9" or 6'5"?
No.
And again, you saw no one with a gun, correct?
Correct.
Did you see any other individuals involved in the situation other than the two people you saw?
I think there was a third person around the car.
Did you see that person with a gun?
No.
Again, you were crouched down. How far?
After this, yes.
How far down are you?
I mean, I'm down by the wheel well. Yes.
You're not wanting to see anything. You're concerned about your safety, right?
Yes.
Did you see that there was a car that backed in? We see on the video a car that backed in next to the charger, correct?
Yes, I saw that on the video.
Did you actually, of your own knowledge, see anyone get out of that car?
No.
Did you see the driver of that car?
No.
Is it fair to say that based on your observation, first off, you weren't focused on that car, were you?
No.
You were focused on the two people struggling, correct?
Yes.
And then once you heard someone say he's got a gun, you were not focused on anything other than your own safety, right?
Yes.
Do you know who said he's got a gun?
I do not.
You know the direction from which that voice came, saying he's got a gun.
If I had to say, it was from the right and behind me. But I don't know precisely. I don't know who said it or precisely where they were.
Okay. And you never had a chance to confer with that person, right?
No. We were told not to talk to one another afterwards.
No problem. So, but going back to the driver of the car that the individual apparently got out of, that we saw back into the spot, you cannot offer an opinion as to the gender of that person, can you?
No.
You cannot offer an opinion as to the race of that individual, can you?
No.
You cannot offer any sort of opinion as to individual characteristics of that person, can you?
No.
You don't have any idea as to the age of that individual, do you?
No.
There was another car, obviously the Charger backed into another car, right?
Yes.
That occurred before the tussle, correct?
Yes.
That occurred before hearing someone say he's got a gun, correct?
Yes.
That occurred before the shot, correct?
Yes.
That car would have been between you and the individuals who were near the Charger, right?
I actually don't remember seeing that car when I saw the struggle. I was pretty locked in on what was going on right there.
Okay, so you directed your attention when you first heard the collision, correct? You have to answer.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
The court reporter has to take everything.
Yes.
And even though you directed your attention to the collision, you do not recall seeing the two cars that were involved in the collision, did you?
What I mainly recall is the struggle around the car.
Okay, but I mean, you did not see the other car involved in the collision, fair enough? Or you don't recall?
I did eventually because that car pulled around near my car.
Okay. But that would have, to some extent, blocked your ability to observe the two individuals in the tussle, correct?
Well, I felt like I saw that pretty clearly.
Now, my question, did that other car to some extent block your view of the individuals involved in the
I don't remember seeing that car.
Okay. Describe what you saw when you saw the struggle.
So literally I just saw the man outside the car pull the man that was in the car out. And then they were struggling outside the car.
And this is again prior to any shot, right?
Correct.
When they were struggling, how far were they from one another?
Right next to each other.
So they were, and I'm going to walk towards you. try to duplicate that. We'll come down off the witness stand, just stand right there. if you can.
Okay.
I'm going to walk toward you in order to duplicate the distance between those two folks when you're struggling. Show me here. Right here. Right here. Face to face. Face to face. Good, thank you. Can you have a seat back up on the witness stand? Did you hear either one of them say anything?
No.
At that time, did you see either one of them with a gun?
No.
You never actually saw a gun, correct?
Correct.
When you saw the two individuals face to face, the distance you have just demonstrated here in this courtroom, you had not heard anyone say at that juncture, he's got a gun, right?
Correct.
And once you heard that, you have no idea how far they were from one another because you ducked out, right?
That's correct.
You didn't get a tag number of the car that left the scene, did you?
I did not.
You didn't offer a description of the car to the police when they arrived at the scene, did you? The car that left the scene.
Right. I think they asked me about that, and all I could say is that it was a dark colored car.
So what was the last sentence?
All I could say, they asked me about that, the police. All I could say was that it was that I thought it was a dark color.
I mean, I know you didn't get a tag number, but did you even get a glimpse of the license plate?
No.
Okay. And can you say how many people would have been in that car?
No.
Okay. Other than the car that intervened, the car that was involved in the collision that you don't recall seeing, was there, there were three people, there were two people involved in the struggle, right?
Correct.
There was a third person close to the struggle, correct?
Yes.
Did you see anybody else closer to the two people who were struggling and the third person other than yourself?
No.
Fair enough, ma'am. I appreciate you coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Drake, do you have any questions for Ms. Smith?
I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Now, in the video we just saw, other than you getting in and out of your car and walking around, there is no video of you physically at the pump that we've seen thus far. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes.
And the make and model of the second car that was involved in the collision, wreck, whatever you want to call it, with the Charger, do you know the make and model of that?
Not for sure, no.
Okay. And would it also be safe to say that you don't know the make and model of the vehicle that you saw leave?
Correct.
And I believe you said whenever you heard the he's got a gun, you thought it was behind you to the right?
Yes.
And whenever you saw the two individuals that were struggling face to face, they were approximately the same height?
Approximately, yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Williams, any reader?
No, Your Honor.
All right, wait, does the state want to release Ms. Smith?
Yes, sir.
All right, Vince? Okay, Ms. Smith, thank you for being here. You are released. You can stay in the courtroom or go wherever you need to go. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to take our lunch. Eddie, I understand the jury dining room is still open, so we're good to go today. We're going to start court back at 1, so just stay with your bailiffs. Leave your notepads in your chair or on the bar is fine.